In 18th century Britain, the Industrial Revolution started. The world saw a major increase in population and an increase in living standards, which led to the depletion of natural resources. The use of chemicals and fuel in factories resulted in increased air and water pollution, and increased use of fossil fuels. People migrated to fast-growing cities for jobs. People were not thinking about the potential impact of burning coal and other fossil fuels to power new machinery and equipment. This is when soil contamination, water, and air pollution started to become a problem. The Neolithic agricultural revolution was another event that we saw some major environmental issues beginning to happen. Before the agrarian revolution, people were primarily hunter-gatherers. They did not stay in one place for very long and did not cultivate the land. After the revolution, you saw the start of agriculture. People were clearing land in order to plant crops and raise animals. People could create permanent settlements instead of traveling nomadically to search for food. Land clearing led to soil erosion and loss of soil fertility from intensive use. Natural vegetation was removed as well as forests, which led to a loss of biodiversity. Soil erosion, a naturally occurring event, was rapidly accelerated by agriculture. With the start of agriculture, the population increased, which led to people needing more food and space. Another event in history where we saw some environmental issues beginning to arise was European crops coming to the New World. The Columbian Exchange introduced exotic crops like corn, white potatoes, sweet potatoes, beans, tomatoes, peanuts, and blueberries to Europe. Livestock came from Europe, including horses, cattle, pigs, sheep, goats, and chicken. Over time, new crops were introduced to the Americas, including wheat, rice, barley, oats, coffee, sugarcane, fruits, and citrus. The trade of crops created an even bigger agricultural industry in the New World. New land would continue to be cultivated. The potato improved the food supply and promoted population growth in Eurasia. In Ireland, the potato promoted a rapid population increase until a potato blight ravaged the crop in 1845, bringing famine.
Global warming is an issue that grips the world today. Since the beginning of the 20th century, the Industrial Revolution has propelled humanity's release of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide and methane gas into the atmosphere. This is due to our increased burning of fossil fuels like coal and oil and our practice of mass deforestation. As a result of this trend, glaciers are melting at alarming speeds, causing sea levels to rise dramatically. This significant theme is likely to cause serious, permanent damage to humanity and other species unless we change our environmental sustainability practices immediately. However, this has come across some serious backlash. Most large companies do not want to face the issue at hand and increase their sustainability due to the increased cost, and some individuals go as far as to call global warming a hoax. The levels of apathy towards our planet and other humans suffering as a result of careless practices is similar to that during the Industrial Revolution. Another modern environmental issue is pollution. The same factories, cars, and other machines that promote global warming releasing pollutants into the air, which is referred to as air pollution. Littering is another type of pollution which results from trash being discarded incorrectly. This trash accumulates in disastrous places, getting in the way of humans and other animals alike. Litter costs hundreds of dollars per ton to clean up and causes visual pollution as well. Furthermore, fires can be started if a spark or lightning strikes litter. Cigarettes, one of the most littered items in the world, can also cause fires. Animals are especially susceptible to litter, which can get lodged in their throats or stomachs, suffocate them, or injure them in other grievous ways. This often results in their death. Other types of pollution include soil contamination, water pollution, and light and noise pollution. Similar to global warming is the depletion of the ozone layer. This is also caused by pollutants released by human activities, in this case chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, and halogens. Ozone absorbs ultraviolet radiation, a type of solar energy dangerous to humans, from the upper atmosphere. Chlorofluorocarbons and halogens create chemical reactions, breaking down ozone molecules and decreasing the ozone radiation absorbing capacity. This ozone hole, or the depletion of the protective ozone layer in the stratosphere over the poles of the Earth, especially the southern one, is causing health problems to the people, animals, and plants living under it, such as eye damage and skin cancer.
Over the past 50 years, the average global temperature has increased at the fastest rate in recorded history, and experts see the trend is accelerating. As mentioned before, global warming occurs when carbon dioxide, CO2, and other air pollutants and greenhouse gases collect in the atmosphere and absorb sunlight. Solar radiation that have bounced off the Earth's surface, and normally this radiation would escape into space, but these pollutants, which can last for years to centuries in the atmosphere, trap the heat and cause the Earth to get hotter. That's what's known as the greenhouse effect. When one speaks of global warming and the environment, the economic aspect of things is always a prominent and controversial topic. People seem to picture environmentalists as wanting to protect trees and cute animals instead of trying to protect the environment and its conditions that are necessary to ensure the health of the general public and the world. But the truth is that environmentalists spend a great deal of time studying and reporting on how climate change will impact human and economic health. Yet many people consider environmentalists to be critical and dismissive of any type of resource extraction or energy production, and as people who do not give a thought to job creation or the impact of environmental regulations and how it would affect industries and its workers in the long run. Which leads people to think that one issue is far more important or fundamental than another one, when in reality the economy and the environment are not in opposition with another. In fact, environmental issues are not separate from any issue we face, but actually a component of them all. A healthy environment is something needed for a healthy economy. The economy relies on the planet's ability to provide resources and the necessities of life. If the pollution we produce is reducing the Earth's ability to create the resources necessary for life, then it becomes catastrophic for the economy in general. Which is why, as a whole, we should be thinking of ways we can help in the process to saving the Earth from catastrophic disaster. Finding alternative energy solutions is fundamental to this process. We need to bring focus to using renewable energy, which is generally defined as energy that is collected from resources which are naturally replenished, such as sunlight, wind, rain, waves, and geothermal heat. Of this renewable energy, we can use 1. Solar power, which is the conversion of sunlight into electricity. Solar power would help the environment because it reduces the need to burn fossil fuels. That means a drop in air pollution and greenhouse gases. 2. Wind power, which is the use of airflow through air turbulence to mechanical power generators for electricity. Wind power, as an alternative to burning fossil fuels, is plentiful and renewable and widely distributed and clean and produces no greenhouse gases during its operation and uses little land. 3. Biomass energy, which refers to organic matter that has stored energy through the process of photosynthesis. It exists in one form as plants and may be transferred through the food chain to animals' bodies and their waste, all of which can be converted for everyday human use. through processes such as combustion, which releases the carbon dioxide stored in the plant's material. The use of biomass to create energy offers the chance to stop using fossil fuels and the extraction process of fossil fuels that often affects the environment, as does pollution that comes from the consumption of those fossil fuels. Biomass could eliminate those pollutants from the Earth's atmosphere. 4. The source of geothermal power, which is the heat contained inside the Earth. Heat so intense, it creates molten magma. Unlike fossil fuel plants, geothermal energy plants do not involve any form or sort of combustion. This means they give off significantly few amounts of greenhouse gases. 5. Hydroelectric power, which generates 10% of the nation's energy. Flowing water creates energy that can then be captured and turned into electricity. This is called hydroelectric power or hydropower. Hydropower is a renewable source since it doesn't consume any water. It only harnesses kinetic energy from speeding water to produce electricity. Also, sources are never ending, which means there is zero possibilities of drying up someday. The natural water cycle ensures that water is always available in the universe.